I was standing in a crosswalk. We cannot stand as New Yorkers.
You want to see what real independent journalism funded by the people for the people looks like?
You ever heard a story like this in America?
You're looking at it.
Congratulations for always being somewhere where mainstream media is not.
Flint, Michigan.
See you in Nevada.
Thanks to people like you, we can get the truth. Corporate media, they've been lying to us for years, and you're going straight to the people.
You are the man. I'm glad you're here.
For as low as 16 cents a day, you'll keep us on the ground, covering the important stories the corporate media covers up.
JT Siskowski for Status Coup. Federal agents swept through New York City on Tuesday, and they made several arrests and detained several more people on Canal Street in the city. This is a major thoroughfare that runs through several Manhattan neighborhoods, including Chinatown, where there is a robust presence of folks who sell knockoff designer goods there on the street. Well, that's exactly who was targeted in this immigration raid by federal authorities. The video itself is pretty shocking of the arrests. Let's get to it.
Stay back! Stay back! Hey! Stay back! That's excessive. You know that's excessive. I don't have to tell you that. Your left. That's way too excessive. They're not impeding. Show your face!
I was standing in a crosswalk. We cannot stand as New Yorkers for this to happen.
This is reporting from NBC News. Federal agents detained several people while conducting an operation on Manhattan's busy Canal Street, searching for undocumented immigrants who may have connections to illegal street vending, according to a senior law enforcement official familiar with the matter. Dozens of agents from Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Homeland Security investigations were seen wearing marked vests near the intersection of Canal and Broadway, detaining several people late Tuesday afternoon and loading them into unmarked vans waiting nearby. We've been on the ground reporting on ICE's abductions in New York City really since the Trump administration took over, but especially this past summer, like some of this video that we got inside of immigration court where federal agents were just waiting to scoop people up as they attended their court hearings.
What's your name? No. This banyo. Get up. This banyo. No, not. Yes, he's coming too.
You don't have to respond to questions. You have the right to remain silent.
Get the jacket.
I'm an attorney.
Trying to get out of your way.
You do not have to confirm your identity.
Back up.
You don't have to give any identification. You don't have to talk to them. You don't have to respond to any questions. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to counsel. You don't have to give your paper documents. You don't have to consent. You're okay. You're okay. Just relax. Just relax. They're detaining you. They'll take you down for processing. You don't have to respond to anything that they ask. You don't have to provide any ID. Just be quiet. Nope, no ID.
Over there.
No ID.
Get out the way. Move. Step out of the way.
Easy.
And it's so important to support this on-the-ground reporting in this moment. The Trump administration is claiming that it's acting one way much of the time, but in reality, it's actually acting in a completely different way, as we are seeing through these videos, the heavy-handed tactics that it is using, the excessive force that it is using with protesters and in these communities where it is conducting these raids. So if you want to support this work, the thing that I would ask you to do is to go to statuscoup.com/join. For $5 a month, you go to keeping us on the ground, giving you that kind of on-the-ground perspective as to what's happening. And these immigration raids have been happening against the backdrop of a mayoral election that is happening in New York City. Right now, President Trump is putting his thumb heavily on the scale right now, trying to get former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo elected in that race. He has said outright that he prefers Cuomo over the Democratic nominee, Zoran Mamdani, because Mamdani is an outspoken socialist and has said that he will not cooperate with federal immigration officials in any capacity. Mamdani has also taken several outspoken positions on issues that would actually benefit working people, unlike the Trump administration, which has usually just paid lip service to some of those issues. Mamdani has actual structured plans to perhaps address some of these material concerns that people are feeling right now. So this is reporting from NBC New York. They quote President Trump talking about Mamdani, quote, "We have a communist, 33 years old, doesn't know a thing, probably never worked a day in his life, and he sort of caught on. I'm not going to send a lot of money to New York," unquote. Trump said, quote, "We're not going to ruin one of our great cities because we'll make that great. We will clean up the crime in about 30 days, unquote. And then he continues, quote, "It took 12 days to do Washington, D.C., so New York is bigger. In Chicago, we've already made a lot of progress despite fighting from the government. All of these cities, we want to clean them up," unquote. He added, quote, "We don't like that opposition, but if somebody is going to be a communist mayor of New York, it's a fluke if he gets in," unquote. So there you have Trump saying, we're going to withhold money from New York if New York elects Zoran Mamdani. Not a stretch to say that you're also going to see a ramp up of these immigration enforcement actions if Mamdani wins the race, which all polls show that he is likely to do in this moment. This is the president threatening New Yorkers, trying to intimidate New Yorkers with a federal presence in New York, saying there will be more of this if you don't vote the way I want you to vote. Mamdani weighed in on the Canal Street raids. He said, "Federal agents from ICE and HSI, some in military fatigues and masks, descended on Chinatown today in an aggressive and reckless raid on immigrant street vendors. Once again, the Trump administration chooses authoritarian theatrics that create fear, not safety. It must stop." And theatrics is really the right word to describe exactly what we're seeing, because you see this huge presence from the federal government. These agents create such a mess rolling through a heavy metropolitan area like we saw on Canal Street there in the video, with all of these resources all just to effect a handful of arrests. And we're seeing the same thing play out in Chicago, and it's all for the benefit of the cameras. In Chicago, these ICE agents have cameras following them around to produce propaganda off of the raids that they are conducting, the lives that they are ruining, and it's all to feed red meat to the Trump base and make his voters think that he is in some way, Trump, in some way addressing their actual material conditions, when all he's really doing is bringing a new round of pain to an immigrant community that has already struggled to make a living here in the United States. But this is an administration that is governing by social media and vibes. They just want people to feel like they're doing something when they open up their phones and scroll through their apps and see video. And Canal Street might be the perfect example of this. So this is a post on X from over the weekend by Savannah Hernandez, who is a right-wing content creator. She put out a video. I won't play the thing out here, but because the text of the post covers pretty much what she says in the video as well, which is, "Watch, a huge group of African illegal immigrants are operating a black market on the corner of Broadway and Canal Street in New York City. As I was reporting, the migrants began scrambling to pick up their items before fleeing into vehicles or on foot due to police presence in the area. One of the migrants explained to me that they're operating, quote, without a license, unquote, and that if the police catch them, they'll confiscate all their items. Perhaps at ICE.gov, the ICE Twitter handle or the ICE X account, should go check this corner out." And then I'll just point out that this social media post had 17,000 reposts and 55,000 likes and nearly 5 million views. And that post was made just a few days before federal agents then showed up and raided Canal Street. Now, a spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security said that their raid on Canal Street was based on intelligence, but was very vague about what that meant. But this isn't just me speculating that a right-wing content creator informed how the federal government is carrying out its immigration enforcement. Hernandez herself drew a connection not long after the raid happened. She said, Canal Street update. I just got word that the illegal immigrant vendors on Canal Street were raided about an hour ago by Homeland Security and arrests were made. This comes after my video went viral this weekend showing huge groups of African illegals selling fake goods along the entire sidewalk. My friend who lives in the area says he hasn't seen a sweep like this in a while and just walked down Canal, which is now completely cleared without an illegal vendor in sight. So you can see there, she draws a direct connection between what she posted and then the action by the federal government. And this isn't the only instance where we've seen right-wing content creators bringing attention to areas that are convenient for the federal government. In Chicago, a bunch of right-wing content creators all showed up together to the Broadview ICE detention facility, where there have been ongoing protests outside of that facility as the federal government really cracks down on Chicago right now. Those content creators, many of them, had just been at a White House roundtable on Antifa, and then all showed up together at Broadview, helping advance the administration's narrative wherever need be. When the administration wants to hold a roundtable on Antifa, all these content creators show up. When the administration wants attention back on Chicago, as it was trying to deploy the National Guard there, all of these content creators show up. So this is part of an ongoing cycle.